Cash Call back again, everybody. We're live on Facebook now. So it's Cash Call again with Brian Curtis and Dale Archdekin, back for another week of riveting content, life-changing advice. Brian, what else can I say? What other descriptors can I throw in here?
Man, you're setting us up for failure, but I think we can make it through. But yeah, no, I think we have some good stuff. We were talking prior to this about some of the things we're going to talk about. I think it's a good opportunity today to share some wins and losses and just maybe give people a little bit different perspective on what a great phone call is versus one that just kind of works out. So
yeah, Megan just pinged me that the chat is disabled again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to fix the chat right now, but we're doing it faster. And listen, we've been trying to figure out the setting with Zoom and BT dubs, hashtag Zoom sucks. And we can't figure out how to change it so that people can chat. I don't understand. Here, I'm fixing the chat. There we go. Everybody can chat. Now, chat in and say Cash Call is amazing, right? Just so we know the chat works. Brian's beard is glowing. Whatever you want to say. There we go. All right, Alex Montalvo. Always here, Alex. You are our mascot, Alex Montalvo. Mike Love, there we go. Cash Call is amazing. Fantastic. Look at that, Brian. Look at all that solicited love that we're getting back there. Don't you like that?
Hey, so here's a takeaway for all of you who are listening. When you tell somebody what to do, most of the time, they'll do it. So there is a great tool that you can use that wasn't our intent today, but yeah, and it's funny. I make that joke, but the truth of the matter is, if you tell a client, let's do this, most of the time they'll go, great, and go ahead and do it. So don't be afraid to be a little bit more in control. Don't be afraid to tell people what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. You know what? I want to say something, man. And this wasn't, Brian and I didn't script this or talk about this in the green room, but I just want to share something in my own sort of business, my own, leadership discovery. And so I was kind of struggling with something. And, what I discovered is, like, as leaders, if we have an employee, this is just something I want to put out there. Like, if you have somebody who's failing or failed at something, and, you did not give them the tools or the training or the empowerment or the clarity to actually succeed, and your vision or your idea of what was going to happen, it's actually your failure, right? And that's something that I'm having to, we as leaders have to deal with that kind of stuff all the time. And so I just want to give that to you out there. I had an expectation from a particular employee, and it did not go the way that I anticipated. It didn't meet my expectations. And initially I was upset, and then I was like, you know what? I actually didn't invest what I needed to invest in order to get back what I wanted to get back. And I just assumed that the person would be able to recreate the vision in my head without the direction and without my own time investment in them. And so, that's just full disclosure, right, Brian?
Dale, what you're talking about is a lesson that it took me more than once to learn. Like, the first time it happened to me, I didn't piece those things together. But absolutely, I think as great salespeople, as great leaders, and I'm not saying that Dale and I are that. I'm just saying people who are great salespeople, who are great leaders, they make the assumption that other people can do what they can do. And here's the thing: they can, once they've been coached and trained. But when we skip that step and just go, oh, surely this is like breathing. But we forget that 15 years ago, this thing that was like breathing today wasn't like breathing. It was like rocket science 15 years ago. And we do that all the time in business. And it's a mistake that, Dale, not remotely unique to Dale, not remotely unique to me. Most good leaders have done it, and they realize, hey, I guess I need to explain this. So here's another thing I love. Is communication is 100% responsibility of both parties in the communication. So if you go in with that attitude that you're 100% responsible for making sure that person understands your message, I think that's a really valuable way to look at communication too.
Yeah. Yep. I just wanted to share that PSA. So I think that's important for everybody here. If you're a leader, it's important. Brian and I still struggle with that stuff. We still do dumb things. And if you're not, right. If you're not a leader yet and you aspire to be and you want to leverage, like, these are just those ugly lessons that you have to learn. It's so funny. I'm going to tee up this call that I have over here, and I think it's going to be pretty obvious. I want to listen to the whole thing. We'll point it out. It's not rocket science why this is a bad call. But while I'm doing that, the funny thing is, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, oh, I was talking to so and so, and they're trying to build a team, and it's really hard. And that person trying to build a team was like, I should just sell houses myself. Why would I screw around with? I'm spending all this time doing all these other things and not making any money. And the person telling me this was like, that makes no sense. Why would you ever want to hire a bunch of other people when you can make more money doing it yourself? And I was like, because they want to leverage, right? Like they're willing to go through the learning pain, the learning curve, right? And the pain of growing so that they can make as much or more without doing the work themselves and personally grow. Like that's the reason. So when we're talking about leadership, we're talking about, I didn't invest the time in training the person that I should have, and then expected the results were going to show up without that investment. It's just another leadership lesson learned that helps you leverage.
Yeah. And here's the thing. There may be people who have that exact attitude. I just want to go out and sell houses. I can make plenty of money. And if that's you, fabulous.
Right.
But
Brian wants to hire you. If you want to sell real estate in Northwest Arkansas or Colorado, Brian is hiring.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really what it comes down to. Each person's different. They have different goals, wants, and needs. Full disclosure, I've sold a lot of houses, and if I never sell another one, me personally, I'm going to be okay because I did that. I burned out on it. 20 years later, I'm done, and that's okay
Right.
because now I can do other things that I like, and and that's all it is. It's everything has a season, and I would say to anybody, if you can't understand why somebody's where they're at, it's just because that's where they're at.
Yes, exactly. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this. If you're selling real estate in the Philadelphia area, come talk to me, right? Arkansas and Colorado, talk to Brian. Philadelphia, talk to Bill. All right, let's go ahead. Yeah, should we get to a call for cash call?
You're up.
Okay. Let me share my sound here. Make sure nothing is embarrassing over on the other screen. All right.
What that means.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Cassandra. I seen you were viewing some properties on our website here in Avon Park, Sebring, and Bartow.
Mhm.
I just wanted to know if you were looking to buy soon, or you were just casually browsing.
Just casually browsing.
Okay. And if you were looking to buy, are these the areas you'd want to live in?
Yeah.
Do you have a time frame on when you're planning on moving or buying a home?
No.
Okay, well, I'll just keep sending them through to you. Just let me know what you think. If you find anything interesting, you can give me a call. If you want any information on any home, you can give me a call as well.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Now, why did I play this call? A couple of reasons, right? Listen, the guy sounds like he's half dead. He's not engaged. He's not interested in this conversation whatsoever. He was a mope, Richard Larkin. Thank you. Yes, he sounded like a mope on the recording. And, this is the kind of salesperson who then reports back to their manager or team leader, oh, yeah, I'm calling leads, man. But, like they just didn't want to buy anything. They're not doing anything, right? They're not making a move. Eric says he just wanted to get off the phone. Exactly. Now, did he quote check the boxes on asking discovery questions? He did, but they weren't even well presented. The agent himself, or ISA, I don't know, had zero interest in this person, right? Zero. Like that's not, and the lead was actually a nice lead. Like I would call this lead, right? She's willing to talk to you.
It's interesting. The question I wanted to ask the lead is there any question I can ask you that I'm going to get more than a one word answer? But besides that, and so, this brings up for me what I call pacing and leading. And so, yes, I understand that this lead was not super interactive, but you gave her permission to not be interactive because you went like this, and I'm going to ask you some more questions, and I'm on a robot. I mean, that's what I heard from this guy. It wasn't quite that bad. So here's the thing that I would say to everybody. So theoretically, I want to match and mirror what somebody's energy is. I want to match and mirror as much stuff as I humanly possibly can. That being said, if I'm getting nowhere, do something different. So and just make a dumb joke. Like Dale and I were talking in the green room. We make dumb jokes sometimes and we think we're funny and we're not. But that's okay because you weren't going anywhere with this lead anyway. Make a dumb joke. Make, hey, by the way, is there anything I could say to you that would give me more than a one-word answer? I'm not sure that I would have said that, but I might have just said, screw it, throw the Hail Mary. But you've got to do something and, either make a joke, change the energy, change something, because what we're doing is not working. And so I don't have exact, but try one of those three things. Make a joke, change the energy, just do something, some kind of pattern interrupt, something that's going to be a bit different.
Absolutely, man. Listen, I think for me, the very simple advice for this guy is just pretend to be excited in the fact that this person might be buying a property somewhere in the future. Just pretend you're excited about that, okay? And let your questions flow from there, right? Just pretend to be excited, bring up the energy, and let the questions flow. Because if you actually are excited and you care, then you're going to ask better questions. And notice the first question that he asked was, are these the neighborhoods you're interested in buying in? What kind of dumb question is that, right?
And Eric is pointing out in the chat, and I agree with this, ask a question that's not a yes or no question. Because yep, no, thanks, bye. I mean, don't give them an opportunity. So I was doing training earlier today, and one of the things I said is one of the reasons that I like slot closes or double binds is you can't say no to them. Dale, just say no to this. Would you like to meet on Tuesday or Wednesday?
No, that sounds dumb.
It sounds dumb. So when you ask a question that requires more than a one-word answer, you can't get that automatic kick in that happens. And does that mean it's going to work perfectly? No, but at least it's better than, at least you got a chance of having more than a one word. That person literally didn't give a more than a one-word answer until the end when she said, thank you very much. That was really the extent of it. So come up with some open-ended questions. Hey, perfect. Out of curiosity, what is your time frame? Or hey, if you don't mind, what's the perfect house for you? Something.
Even we could even re-engineer this, right? He goes, do you have a time frame? And she said no. Okay. If you're going to stick on time frame, I mean, you and I are going to move on beyond that because we're better at this, but even just to help this guy, right? He goes, hey, do you have a time frame? No. Damn, I'm stuck, right? Got it. Hey, so are you thinking like in the next couple months, in the next few years? Like, give me an idea, like if you were going to stay stuck on it, that's a place to go when you find yourself in a dead end. Just make some options, right? And give them more than one.
Hey, and here's something, Dale, we did an entire cash call on this, but current state questions too. So, hey, out of curiosity, do you currently rent or do you currently own? Again, It could be a one-word answer, but it's a no pressure question, right? And no one's going to be offended by that question. Doesn't mean they're going to interact with you, but those present state questions that have no pressure, when we future pace people, sometimes it makes them anxious. How are you thinking of buying in 6 months? Oh crap, I don't know. So and that's not what this person did, but those current state questions allow people to answer questions in a way that feels like there's no pressure. And maybe this would have opened this person up. I don't know. We didn't try hard enough to find out if we could crack the nut or not.
Yeah, I know, man. That's so I joked that basically he threatened this person. I've added no value to you. I'll just randomly follow up with you to see if there's anything you like, right? That's basically like a threat from a salesperson that they're just going to call you out of the blue.
Exactly. So, and I'm just going to read just a couple things out of the chat and then we'll move on. Marv, and thank you for saying that. I agree with what is your current living situation? Same kind of question I did. Do you currently rent or do you currently own? So I'll be honest, I don't love this question. It's another one I saw in the chat. So if we find the right home for you today, are you ready to move on it? That's a question to me is a question that I ask when I've got a lot of rapport, when we're doing well, when we're interaction, because again, that's a yes, no question. And so do I use that question ever? Absolutely. But not with this person, because again, it just gives me an opportunity to say no.
Right. And it's also a close, right? So that if we find the right home today, are you ready to move on, is a close rather than a discovery question. And so, you do need to have more rapport and you need to be farther down the pipeline for that one, right? Like we've had a great conversation. You said you're a couple months out because of X, Y, or Z, right? I have your who, where, when, why, what, and how much. And maybe, you know, near the end, before I let you go, it might be like, hey, Brian, I mean, listen, if we happen to find the perfect home for you in the next couple of days, is that something you'd want to make a move on, or are you really committed to your timeline?
Yeah, and everyone, I want y'all to notice what Dale just did. He changed his tone, and it was a very, hey, by the way, kind of we're buddy buddy kind of tone versus he didn't go, hey, if I find the perfect house for you, you want to go see it? That's not what he did. I exaggerated, but notice that his first of all, his actual tone increased. Like it was a slightly higher pitch, which indicates to people, hey, we're having fun. We're a little bit happier. And that's because I know Dale. Dale talks down here, but he went, hey, by the way, if I happen to, and listen to go on. Why is this so important? Because that actually relieves pressure on a subconscious level, and people aren't even thinking about it, because I can ask that question now and it just sounds, hey, it's fun. Okay, great. We're having a good time. So pay attention to your tone when you're doing these things as well. It allows you to ask a tougher question that doesn't appear to be a tougher question when you lighten your tone. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, Brian, what do you got for us? I know you have a call.
I do. I've got a call. It's a little bit longer. And I want to preface this call. This person is under contract on the house that this person is calling about. So, you know, at the end of the day, there was success, but, you know, Dale and I talked about this in the green room too. Yes, ultimately our goal is to get people under contract, but I want you to learn from this too and see where there's some opportunities that if this person wasn't as easy to work with, it might have gone sideways. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll listen to this call. It's overall, it's a pretty good call. And again, the end result was amazing. This person's under contract. Theoretically, it'll close sometime next month. So, all
That's
right.
excellent.
And crap, I forgot to hit share sound. You know, Zoom could make my life easier if they would just automatically share the sound, but you know, they don't care. All right, here we go.
Right.
Hello?
Hey, is this Sean?
Yes, it is.
Hey, my name is Realtor.com connected me to you. Were you trying to get information about a property?
Yes, we wanted to go see one.
I'm going to stop because I probably should have stopped it. First of all, so Dale and I have said this. If we said it once, we said it 1,000 times. Work on your intro scripts.
Mhm.
Hey, is this
Mhm.
Sean? It's not a good intro. Because again, I don't know about you, Dale, but the second I say someone says, hey, is this Brian? I'm like, oh shit, somebody's going to try and sell me something.
Right.
Don't
Right.
create an artificial, because that's what most salespeople do, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
make the assumption when someone answers the phone, if they have, again, if it sounds male or female, don't, like, you know, if it's Susie and the guy's talking like this, maybe you don't ask if this is Susie, or maybe in that case you might, but otherwise, you know, just assume that you're talking to the person who you got. It doesn't work as well otherwise. So again, not a huge deal. Memorize your intro scripts. They're 10 seconds long. We can all do that. You agree?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. All right, I'm gonna play a little bit more.
I think it was, I want to say, I don't know, I think it's 15470 Greasy Valley Road.
Okay.
Hey, I wanted to say something, and I apologize too. This person did intro themselves. I edited it and cut their name out. That's why you didn't hear the intro.
Okay.
The person said,
Okay.
hey, I'm Bob. Obviously, this isn't Bob, and with such and such company. So that intro was in there.
I just wanted to see, we just wanted to see the inside and possibly make a cash offer depending on what's on the table currently.
Okay, that's perfect. So let me get some information about when that house is available for you to check out the inside of it. So basically what I'll do is I'll reach out to the seller and see when it's available. So what's your availability look like? Would you want to go today, like tomorrow? Like, when's convenient for you?
We're actually down in the area this afternoon, evening, but I could come back down here another day if I need to.
Okay.
I don't know, where are you based out of?
So I'm in Rogers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. So evenings work for you?
Yeah, evenings would be great. Even midday is fine. We're in the area. We're pretty flexible.
Okay.
So I know that you guys are under contract, or that this person's under contract on this deal now. I would have wanted to, when he said, we want to make a cash offer, I'd want to say, oh, great. Is this for investment or for you to actually, right? I just want to, I want to get that kind of clarification.
I agree. Yeah, and a couple of other things that I just kind of let it play through. I don't know if you see my notes still or not, Dale, but I guess it really does. Okay, so one of the other things I want to say is don't get caught up in the scheduling. This happens so much, and it's so frustrating to me. When someone says, hey, I want to go see a house this evening, the answer is yes.
Yes.
I don't care if you looked the house up. I don't care if they give you a bad address. Ultimately, I just want to say yes. And then I can back it out and say, hey, Bob, this is Brian, just reaching back out. So sorry. But talk to the seller, and unfortunately, I've already accepted an offer. With that in mind, I've got these 3 other properties to go take a look at. And by the way, I know I couldn't use that script 6 months ago, but today, guess what? There's 3 other properties this guy can go look at probably, because the market has shifted and we actually have inventory now. So make sure that you're calling somebody back on a pending property, that you do that research, find out, give them an alternative. Hey, by the way, I've got these 3 other properties very similar, da 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 da. Of course, to do that, you have to do good discovery so you know what the properties are, so that you're not just making it up. So anyway. Yeah.
Why don't we just role play this for people listening to now or later in the recordings of the podcast, right? Let's just role play it real quick. Brian, why don't you, I'm a realtor.com lead that inquired on, 123 Main Street. Okay. And you're going to call me.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Dale, this is Brian Curtis with HomeQuest Realty. You made an inquiry about 123 Main Street, and I'm just reaching out to see, when you'd like to go take a look at that property, or see if you have any other questions.
Good job, Brian. Everybody hear that? Just set the appointment, okay? That's all you got to do. Brian doesn't know what this property is or where it is, right? I'll demonstrate something for everybody too. Let's do that the other way around, and we'll go a little bit farther. Brian, and you have questions. When I ask when you want to go see it, you stop me with questions, okay?
Perfect.
Okay, I'm going to demonstrate. Ring, ring, Brian.
Hey, it's Brian.
Hey, Brian, this is Dale Archdekin with Amazing Realty. Looks like you inquired on this property at 123 Main Street here. Just wanted to see when you'd want to go see that property.
I'm not sure. I do have some questions, though.
Oh, got it. Okay, what questions do you have?
I wanted to know if it had a mother-in-law suite and how big the lot was.
Okay, got it. Lot size, mother-in-law suite. Anything else important to you about that property?
No, I think those are the 2 things that are important to me.
Okay, great. So if those work for you, would you be able to see it sometime this week?
Yeah, absolutely. If it has a mother-in-law suite and the lot's at least half an acre, then yeah, we want to go look at it 15 minutes from now. We're excited. We just want to make sure we don't want to waste your time or mine.
Fantastic. Now I'm going to get into discovery with Brian, everybody. Okay. Do I know what the hell property Brian's talking about? Do I know where it's located? Do I know the address? Did I find the exact lot and block number of the goddamn property before I set an appointment with him? No, I didn't, right? I don't care. Who cares, right? And I don't know whether this has an in-law suite or a size of the lot. I'm going to move into discovery with him, but it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, right, Brian? At least it sounds like I'm intelligent. I have no idea what we're talking about.
Absolutely. So, and I want to, this call's got another minute or so, but there's some actual good discovery that kind of starts here and then we kind of stall out. I'm going to play the rest of it. And then there's a good, what I refer to as button up at the end. And I think that that's valuable as well. So I'm going to play a little bit more.
Good.
Perfect. So are you already working with a realtor or anything like that?
Okay.
I'm not. I reached out to a couple people.
I want to point this out too. This is another thing that this agent needs to work on. Are you already working with a realtor? Let's assume that I like that question. It's not my favorite, but let's assume for the conversation that I like that question. Here's what I don't like. Are you already working with a realtor or anything like that? What the hell is like that? You're either working with the realtor or not working with the realtor. You're committed, you're not committed. There's no anything like that. So we got to remember this, is that people have choices to who we want to work with. And again, this agent ended up getting this house under contract. She's a newer agent, but she's pretty good. Watch the extra graffiti, hey, by the way, by any chance, are you working with another agent? No, I'm not. Or I prefer the question of, hey, have you seen any property? Yeah, I've looked at 3 or 4 houses. Okay, how did you work with the listing agent? You go to open house. Oh no, we've got an agent. Or no, we're not committed to anybody. We just call. Okay, perfect. So I can get that same information the same way, but don't say or anything like that or stuffing things. And I don't know. But these weird extra words that don't have any meaning, stop saying them.
Yeah. I know that's one of those things that people have to practice. They have to listen to what they're saying. And that's another reason why, if you aren't listening to your own call recordings, like we do that in my coaching company all the time for clients, but if you aren't listening to your own damn recordings, you can't hear that crap that you're doing. And it makes it even harder for you to change it. Because when you're in the moment, you're trying to like throw things out there or do whatever, fill the space, or you're like, oh, did what I say make sense? And you're like, did you get it? Did that make sense or whatever? Or like, and things and stuff or like that, those kind of little pieces that you throw in there. It's because you had to create it on the fly and you haven't practiced not doing stuff like that. That literally takes focus and practice. Just like Oz and ums.
Well, and here's the funny thing too. People talk about this all the time. I'm a good realtor. I don't need to do this and this and this anymore. So I'm going to guess that there's a couple of people on our podcast today who like Larry Bird. I'm just, you might be old like me. Larry Bird practiced free throws so much that when he did a commercial where he was supposed to miss a free throw, he accidentally made it 9 times in a row. So my point of that story is sometimes practicing the fundamentals is still an important thing. Like I can tell you right now, I wouldn't want to go on a listing appointment today. Even though I'm going to train tomorrow to my entire team how to go on a listing appointment, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that right now. I would need to go and role play some of that stuff. So guys, even if you've been on 1,000 listing appointments, you've been thousands of phone calls, it still makes sense to practice. So just my little 2 cents there. All right, I'm going to play just a couple more minutes of this and then we'll finish up.
To get info on it, and I just heard back from one, but we got cut off because about service. So I'm just.
Yeah, so you're not working specifically with a realtor or anything like that. I just don't want to step on anyone's toes or get in trouble for that.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm not currently. My wife and I have been driving by properties we like that we've seen online, and this one is the first one so far that my wife's wanted to see inside.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I'm actually trying to pull up some information on this one right now. What was it that you liked about this one?
The main 2 things were it's a new construction and the land. It's got.
So that was a question I thought was good. What did you like about this property?
Yeah.
Because what if they don't like it? Now it gives me an opportunity to go do some more research. I would go a little bit deeper than she goes. I wouldn't just say, what do you like about this property? I would say bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, those kind of things. Do the full discovery. The guy's clearly willing to talk. So, do a full discovery so that you can potentially find some other properties if need be.
Yeah.
Over 3 acres.
Okay. Yes. That's great. Yeah, I just like to find out, what people are interested in. Okay, so basically what I can do here is when I get off the phone with you, I will reach out and see when we can set up an appointment, and then I'll just confirm that with you.
Okay. So.
And then I'm also going to text you from my personal cell phone, so that way you have my number, you can contact me. And if you do see any other properties that you guys are interested in, you can also just text me those addresses and I can pull up information and set up appointments for them too. I can help with any house in Northwest Arkansas.
There we go.
That's what I wanted to end. I mean, that was a great way to end this. I'm going to send you my contact information. And by the way, if you see any house in this case, Northwest Arkansas, and when I do that, I say literally, I just say the state of Arkansas. I'm licensed in Arkansas. And do I really want to help with something that's 3 hours away? Absolutely not. But I want them to call me no matter what, because again, if they have a house in Little Rock, which is 3 hours away, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call my friend in Little Rock and say, hey, by the way, this guy is going to call you. So at least I'm going to get a referral out of it. So literally any house in the state of Arkansas, call me. I'll figure it out for you. That's kind of where I go on that. So,
yeah.
So anyway, that's what we had there, Dale. We do have one more question in the chat. I thought maybe you might want to answer it. Connie Martin says, can you give a follow-up after you ask the question? Out of curiosity, are you currently renting or own?
Oh, sure. Yeah, Connie. You know, if they give you, if the answer to renting or owning is in any way contextually relevant to what they're doing, then go down that path. If it's not, it's just another sort of discovery, and move on to another discovery question. So Brian, let's practice this, right? Hey, Brian, so what's that?
I was saying that I own a house.
Okay. Yeah, Brian, so do you currently own a home, or are you renting?
I own one.
Oh, fantastic. Are you planning on selling that property when you make the next move, or will you be keeping it?
You know, I haven't decided yet. I think we can own two houses. We haven't decided we want to keep it or not. So
okay, great. So
Dale,
how long have you and your wife? What's that?
Yeah, we can go do the opposite. I'll do. You say that you rent. So hey, Dale, do you currently rent or do you currently own?
Oh, we're renting.
Okay, cool. So a couple quick questions. What do you like about your current rental?
Well, you know, it's in this location and size and has some great views.
Yeah, is there anything you don't like about it?
It's not mine.
Right. So you can see whether I say rent or own, there's next logical questions that come with that. And so that, I hope that answers your question, Connie.
Yeah. Yeah. So Connie, just move on to the next relevant questions, right? If the answer to renting or owning is, you know, is inconsequential to the conversation you're having, then just move on to other discovery questions. But somebody's current living status does matter, right? And, you know, another question that Brian could ask when I say I'm renting, you could say, great, what is making you interested in potentially purchasing instead of continuing to rent? So you can ask that question too. Just what you're doing is let me give you this answer, Connie. What you're doing is you're constantly trying to figure out, are you a ready, willing, and able buyer or seller? And what might get in the way of me collecting a commission check? Okay. So if you're operating based on that, then that's going to help inform the questions that you ask.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was great. And again, it's funny because when she put that question in the chat, the funny thing was I didn't know the answer until
there's no specific answer.
Well, because I'm like, okay, how do I answer that? I don't know. But the second Dale asked the question, I'm like, I know exactly how to answer this. So it's just the next logical step. And it's kind of funny. That comes from, you know, if you talk at levels of learning, it's unconscious competence is where I know how to answer the question. I just didn't know that I knew how to answer the question. And that happens sometimes to us, right?
You haven't had to articulate it, right? You just do it. Yeah. So the answer is, then whatever their answer to that question is, you figure out where to go next. And so that's why I condensed it down to, are you a ready, willing, and able buyer or seller? And how am I not going to get a paycheck? Right. That's how I figure out what to do.
You know, Dale, great call, great catch call today. I really enjoyed it. I think we had some really good calls and get some great questions, and appreciate everybody for participating. The more questions you ask, the more opportunity it gives us to help you directly. So thank you for all the people who participated.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks.